That is such a good intro. Like, I could listen to that all night. Honestly, that is so good. Like, whatever happens now is going to be downhill after that intro, isn't it? But hey ho. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Absolute Football WSL and Women's Championship show. As you can tell, those blessed with the with sight, basically, I'm not Freya. I'm Ant Waterson, and welcome back to everybody. Obviously, Freya's away. Taking a well-deserved holiday. She takes one night off, and everything goes to shit. Apologies for the delay. My laptop decided to die literally minutes before we were due to go on, and I've been stressed. As you can tell, I'm sweating like mad. I've had to open a window. Everything's just wonderful. But we're going to talk some football, and I cannot do this alone. Nor would I want to, because you wouldn't want to be talking to me for an hour and a half, that's for sure. So we are joined by Chloe. Chloe, how is it going?
Yeah, it's going good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, apart from 5 minutes ago, I'm absolutely fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, really good. And also we have Paul, as per usual, mate, the mainstay of Wednesday nights. How's it going, buddy?
I won't go that far. It's good to see you, though. And
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah, I was fine until about 2:30 this afternoon when a certain bit of women's football news broke. And then, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about. In fact, I think we should get straight into that. Once we've said hello to everyone in the chat, like I say, thanks everybody for being so patient in getting us and waiting for us. We've got Uncle Montana. I always call him Tony Montana, so he's going to be Tony Montana for one night only. Hello. Matthew Broomfield, hello. Tony, my fellow Chelsea brother. Oh, we'll let them crack on. Emily, I'm ready. Hello, Emily. So am I. Let's have a look. Graham's here. Graham offered another brilliant win. Well, another few brilliant wins for Charlton over the last couple of weeks. We'll talk about the Charlton Sunderland women game very much later on, which was one of the most weirdest games I've ever been to in my life. But yeah, we'll continue cracking on. We've got Simon. Evening all. Hello, Simon. How are you? And yeah, I mean, pretty much Freya takes one night off and things start to go tits up. It wouldn't be Team Chaos without a little bit of madness, wouldn't it? An evening show and one sudden fun replaced by another. It can't go wrong, can it? Trust me, mate, it can go very much badly wrong, especially if you're a Sunderland supporter. But yeah, as you've just mentioned there, Paul, obviously today's breaking news. It's never a dull day. But Manchester United have announced that Mark's going to sign a new deal. So obviously when I read the news, I immediately thought of you. I'm not going to lie. I immediately thought, what's his reaction going to be?
I'm sure I heard a Mackem voice just go, oh, shit.
I was thinking the cat's being kicked out. Like, have you seen Anchorman, you know, when he kicks his dog off the fridge? I was thinking he's done that. Yeah, we'll start with you, mate. What's your feel? How does it make you feel, to quote a Josh?
Well, I'm gonna use the medium of music to to give my opinion. So I apologise in advance to everybody. I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm going to set it straight, this Watergate. I can't stand rocking when I'm in here because your crystal ball ain't so crystal clear. So while you sit back and wonder why I got this fucking thorn in my side, oh my God, it's a mirage. I'm telling y'all, it's sabotage.
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys. There you go.
I think it's like a 2-year deal, though. So obviously, I mean, we keep on saying about Skinner and everything like that apparently he's been on borrowed time for the last year and a half or whatever, but he must be doing right somewhere, wasn't he?
It's, in all seriousness, it's not so much shooting themselves as in their. I said on Twitter, and I'll quote it again because it's the best I've got. It's not so much shooting themselves in their foot as firing a frigging cruise missile into their face at point blank range. It's a really stupid thing for them to do because, like, all the fans hate him. There are questions over his treatment of players, which the media have now started to pick up on a little, particularly with Irina Guerrero players like Hayley Ladd, much to Chloe's team's benefit, have been driven away. You know, stalwarts of Manchester United Manchester United originals have been there since 2018, have been driven away by his management because of his mismanagement of players. And I think the best it said was, if you look at the Manchester United announcement of his new contract, where they did a cheesy, bloody photo shoot of him. And I don't know how to say this, but he's exactly the sort of twat who'd put a smiley face on his signature, isn't he? Like,
I put a smiley face on my signature. I'm not a twat.
do you?
Yeah, well, I've got an O, haven't I? So I put like a 2 dots and a little smiley face.
Oh no, his is a squiggle, and then he put a smiley face next to it because it's good.
All right, no, like obviously with my O at the end of my name, Waterson, I put 2 little dots and a little smiley. Well, 2 little dots because obviously the O's a smiley face, isn't it?
Yeah, but just like, if you look at all the quote tweets and all the replies, it's hilarious because it's just Manchester United fans going like, "This is the worst day of my life." You know, what the hell are we doing? And various gifts of that nature, and just fans of opposition teams with like standing ovation gifts and yes, 4 more years and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sorry, but if your big announcement of giving a new manager a 2-year contract is greeted with your own fans all going, "What the fuck?" and opposition fans going, "Yes, this is the best news ever," it's a bad decision. It's Sunderland signing Michael Beale level. This. Like,
oh, he can't do that bad of a job. He can't do that bad of a job.
or Nathan Jones at Southampton, then. That kind of level.
That kind of. Can I kind of play devil's advocate? Because as you know, as much as I do watch as much as I can of WSL, I'm not an expert like you used to. I'm more obviously the championship guy, aren't I? But just to play devil's advocate, I will bring Chloe into this as well. Ask this question because I'm just going to bring up the table. I mean, that's not a bad season, is it? Really, they're still in the FA Cup. They did all right. Did they do all right in the I don't know. I don't care about the County Cup. So did they do all right in the County Cup? Who gives a shit? But you know, like 6 points off the top. Everyone knows like Chelsea are probably going to win that league. But I mean, I don't think he's done that bad of a. I don't think they've had that bad of a season. Is that just down to the players doing out the spike, Chloe, or do you think he's probably warranted the new deal?
I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, in a way, I think he has warranted the new deal because at the end of the day, he's getting results like, you know, the third in the table, the level of Arsenal. They could potentially get Champions League next season. He's getting the results. He's just not getting the backing because fans have turned on him for the reasons we've already discussed, that he is a bit of a knob at times and he is a bit like that type of person, but he's getting United points, he's getting them results. Like he got them to the FA Cup final last year. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're getting the points, they're getting the results, and I think it is warranted, but also I think that more is going to need to be done in order for fans to keep backing him and keep within supporting United, because they will turn and they will leave eventually if like more players come out, more stuff comes out about Skinner as a manager, Skinner as a person. Like I think I mean, to be fair, from the neutral perspective, as Say has no opinions on Skinner, I think it is a little bit warranted, the new deal, but I also think that it needs to be careful because it will change. And I mean, to be fair, they scored against us, which I'm not. They won against us, which I'm not best pleased about. But I think it's warranted at the moment. At the moment,
I think the chat are making the point. I think Tony and Emily are both making the next point I was going to make for me, which is that the football is flipping horrific.
Yeah.
And, you know, also there's statistical evidence. Like I haven't got the exact figures to hand. I think it was something like if you go into full nerdy statistics and things like expected goals and all that sort of stuff, which you see sometimes as real football fans aren't supposed to look at because it's all numbers and mumbo jumbo, but it's an interesting analytical tool now. And basically, it argues that Fallon Tullis-Joyce is something like 7 below the number of goals she would have conceded in a statistically average season, which is an insane amount. And, you know, he is where he is, and Man United are where they are because Fallon Tullis-Joyce has had an absolutely incredible season. Liz Turland has been banging in the goals at the other end. Grace Clinton, flipping shrew that she is, has been finding the net as well when she's played well. But again, there's discontent between her and Ella Tunas, who can play where, and it's all built on sand. Like it could go, the whole season. You know, with teams like Chelsea, you watch and you go, yeah, okay, they merit that position. With teams like Arsenal, when they're playing well, you look at them and go, yeah, they merit that position. With Man United, and again, I freely admit part of this is because I just dislike Mark Skinner as a manager because of all of the news and everything. But it's not just him, or it's not just me saying it. It's Man United saying it as well. Of just when is this going to collapse? We can't keep getting this lucky. We can't keep relying on Fallon Tullis-Joyce playing absolutely out of this world, which she has, and it needs to be recognised that if they'd had a statistically average goalie, they'd be down in 7th or 8th.
But I hate that some United fans are still comparing Fallon to Mary, and even Skinner's been doing it as well. Like, they're still doing that comparison. It's like, it's not even on par. Like, Mary's good, but Fallon's also really good, and we've seen that week on, week out, how good Fallon actually is. It's just that this season, she's actually getting more than just the cup game to show what she can do. And
also,
I
she's
hate
had
that
the defence in front of her as well,
Mm.
like you say. But I agree with you. The comparisons with Mary Earps, I think Fallon Tullis, the best thing that happened to Man United is Mary Earps leaving. Because if Mary Earps was in goal, they'd probably be down a couple of positions.
Yeah. Just bringing this point up, obviously you mentioned before about Emily, but they played mediocre to poor football, just meaning looking for them to find the goal. In the FA Cup this season, they've had by far the easiest run I've ever seen in any competition. Now, I take offence to that because they had symptoms, all right? And we actually did all right against them. So there you go.
Statistically, they've had,
Yeah. You still got to beat what's in front of you, though. And I suppose as well, like it brings around a bigger point, doesn't it, that what do you want? Do you want really good football or do you want to win? And sometimes it is hard to do both. You know what I mean? Like, you look at like teams have won like leagues in the past. You look at Chelsea under Mourinho. Chelsea never played brilliant football. They were just solid at the back, weren't they? Like, Chelsea under Mourinho were 2-0 and then they were done, weren't they? So it kind of, can you have both? I suppose you probably can. But no, I think, kind of on him, I think, it's because obviously I read a few of the Man United quotes and the fans don't seem happy, so it does seem a little bit weird that they don't listen to the fans, but hey ho, to Manchester United, innit? But it's brought on a little quite, because obviously you started off with Sabotage, and then there's been a few little songs in, I think there was I Want to Break Free by Sean Evans, that was really good. I think it was Sean again with the Lily Allen song. No, it wasn't, it was Matthew. There we go. I was thinking of more of Fuck You by Lily Allen. I mean, who can think of the best song to describe Manchester United at the moment? I mean, I'd say a Block Party, 2 More Years, which is quite apt. But if anyone could think of one, we'll think of the best later on when the show finishes, and you can win nothing, but you win my gratitude. That's all I'll say.
You can win a matchday playlist.
Yeah.
Something that Man United fans would love to do to Mark Skinner, Counting Crows, Murderer 1.
There we go. But as Mr. Arsenal podcast has put there, hello by the way, is how many players does he need to upset and leave before the penny drops? I don't know, probably Ella Toon, I'd imagine, but that's
even
tough.
then, though, I think Ella Toon is too professional to say it was Mark Skinner's fault.
Probably, yeah.
If she did a Lauren Hemp, then he'd be out the door the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. Shall we talk some results now? Have we got? Are we done on Skinner or anymore?
We never will be, but we're done for now.
We're never done on Skinner. We're going to have to talk about. Well, to be fair, he's the first result. He's the first result on there. 2-0 over Everton, and if I look at who is meant to be doing that one, oh, it's Chloe. So Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Let's talk about that one then.
Right, first off, I'm fuming because we scored and I thought it was really great, and then it was a handball, but I don't think it was an obvious handball. It's confusing, okay? What's a handball? What isn't a handball? What's the natural or unnatural position? I don't get it, and shoot me. But Catcher's Noise got the ball in the net and gave us the lead inside 2 minutes, but the referee spotted a handball and disallowed the goal because her arms did something. I mean, to be fair, it did hit her arm, so it probably was disallowed. But I'm bitter. I'm a bitter Everton fan, so what can I do? No, to be fair, it probably was warranted. But a great stat that I found is Everton came into this game having never beaten United in the WSL. And I thought, oh, great, that also happened against City. And look what happened, we won 2-0. I favoured going to Arsenal that day. So I was hoping this would be the same, where I favour another team over this team. And then it actually didn't work in my favour. But it was Dominique Janssen and Grace Clinton who both scored for United. We started off so strong. I'd just like to add, we started off brilliantly. We started off amazingly. Couldn't have been a better start. And then our Lord, our Saviour, Courtney Brosnan. We love that woman to pieces. I just think she's absolutely great and so deserving of the captain's armband, whilst Megan Finnegan is recovering from her ACL injury. Mainly because she is the absolute loudest one on the pitch. Like, you can always hear her no matter where she is. She's great. Oh, but another fun fact, just trailing off this a minute, but a fun fact that I learned a couple of weeks ago, just I've not been here, is that Heather Payne plays for Ireland. That's not a fun fact, that's just a fact. But she plays for the Republic of Ireland with Katie McCabe and Courtney Brosnan, and Katie McCabe calls her window as in window pane. And it's it's some of that I found out at the Everton Arsenal game. It's been making me giggle ever since, that her nickname is Window because her last name's Payne. And I just felt the need to share that because I feel everyone just needs to know that information, because it's been one of the highlights of my life since I found that information out.
But, it's a great nickname, to be fair.
Oh, it's so funny.
Great nickname. Matthew's put in the chat there, Everton started off so well. I don't think it was handball at all before Manchester United scored. Everton had the better chances and played better football. I think that's a fair reflection on the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's so true. Yeah, true. Got off to say just, yeah.
I like this one. You started off like Everton Lorna and ended the game like Everton. I like that.
Yeah, we started off really well, and it's just a shame that, Courtney Brosnan made that mistake where she thought she caught the ball but just slipped through the gloves, and then Dominic Janssen managed to convert it into an empty goal, and she thought she caught it. I thought she caught it, but it slipped from her gloves. And then, Clinton doubled the lead about 90 seconds after the restart, when she just managed to flick it into the bottom corner. But it was even more annoying because, Grace Clinton is ex-Everton. So it's even more annoying when your ex-players then score against you. It's like, we brought you up. We trained you.
Should be a Sunderland fan. It happens every week.
But to be fair, in the opening stages, we did create lots of chances. And, we challenged Tullis Joyce, which is something that doesn't happen that often. And I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm going to keep saying it, but since we've signed Kelly Gargo, that has been the absolute change in pace for Everton. Like, I will sing her praises until the cows come home. Like, she is absolutely phenomenal. She's been the absolute star player for us since.
You've got to have the Queen Radio Gaga song for her, like, haven't you?
Oh, 100%.
Surely if you go to them games, go to the home games, please start that song off. Like, I'll even come down with you and start that song off for a home game, like, because that deserves to be mentioned. Like.
Yeah. I was fuming last time I went to Wharton Hall Park because they only played Throughout the Blues once, and it wasn't even the full song.
No,
it was half of it, and I was absolutely seething. So I was like, why are we not? This is our hype song. This is what gets us engaged, and it was only played half of one, so I'm fuming. But we need to get Radio Gaga on the playlist now.
Matthew's a little bit more on Grace Clinton's, like, Anakin Skywalker, you were the chosen one. It was destined you would score for Everton, not against us. So yeah, I mean, so now she's going to build a big off Death Star and, you know, kill everybody. But hey, and Emily, Everton have been so much improved recently. The thought of Brian getting back and money in the summer because he also know how to spend it totally scares me. And that's a fair point, isn't it? Like, you know, obviously with everything that's going on in Everton, obviously, you know, the takeover and everything like that for the men's side, but obviously a new stadium as well, so to get to play in that next season, hopefully, you know, in a derby game, that'll be tremendous. But on and off the field, I think it's looking good. It's looking bright for Everton at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's looking so good, and I'm a bit like that. Like in the summer when we get, like, you know, some money to spend and some decent signings, and we could also potentially play at Bromley Moor Dark. There's all the rumours about moving to Goodison as well, which again could create like an incredible atmosphere and more facilities and more engagement for our girls. And I mean, to be fair, the two Chelsea games we played, we didn't concede until like late into the second half, which is absolutely unheard of considering when they came to Goodison, because the Everton Chelsea game was at Goodison. We lost 5-0 to them. And in the back-to-back a couple of weeks ago, we literally only lost like 1-2-0 to them, which, you know, I call that a win in my books. But no, I mean, I love Aubrey. Like, again, I'm a pure like Aubrey advocate. I love that man, and I think he's so incredible. What he's turned a bad situation into an all right looking situation. It's still not great. It could still be massively, massively improved and so much better. But I think now we've signed 5 decent signings for January window. Some are only loan players, but others are more long-term signings. But I think that the fresh legs, and we're also getting like long-term players back from injury now. Like we've got Ricky Svecki back, who got engaged as well last week. That's so exciting for her. We've got her back. We've got more longer-term injuries coming back as well. And I think for Everton, the future is looking bright, and we're winning the league next year. We're winning the Champions League. We're gonna be in the Champions League. We're winning FA Cup. We're gonna win the Subway Cup. We're winning it all.
There we go. and Ellen Dale's out of contract at the end of the season, so you might get her back. Oh. I hope not, but you never know.
Good.
Oh yeah, she's been class. She's injured at the minute, like, bless her, but yeah, she's been brilliant for us. I've just had a big shout downstairs. So one of my dogs is in trouble. But until I find out about that, which will probably be in about an hour's time, well, shall we talk about Brighton versus Manchester City? And Paul, I believe this is one of yours. Probably a needed win for City after, you know, the Champions League heartbreak and, you know, getting beat off Chelsea. Last minute goal to Chelsea as well, wasn't it, last week? And probably what was billed as the league decider. So good to see them back on the winning run.
It was indeed, and they made heavy weather of it. Like, they were outshot by Brighton 23-12, and City being outshot is fairly rare. But Kiara Keating, she had her early season wobble, but she's really stepped up, stepping back in goal. 23 shots and to only concede 1 in the 92nd minute is very impressive. But Nick Cushing appears to struggle a little because Brighton's set up very much, you know, to pack and not fully park the bus, but very much they were playing 5-4-1. So, you know, very much a conservative plan, if you like. And Man City just were decent, but they didn't really look like they could break through or push. Brighton were getting far more chances, but of course, as well, Man City have ridiculous injury issues at the moment. Like, they had 2 goalies on the bench. I mean, most teams have 2 goalies on the bench, but they had 2 goalies on the bench because they had to have 2 goalies on the bench. And in fact, they have 3 goalies on the bench. No, they just had 2, not 3. But it was a decent strength bench, but still, a lot of them weren't perhaps fully fit. The likes of Kerolin weren't fully fit. Jill Ward wasn't fully fit. Viv Miedemar was on the bench as well. So obviously, Bunny Shaw was missing completely, and they just weren't that convincing. Whereas Brighton, again, are probably going to be losing this game because 23 shots and only scoring 1 in the 92nd minute. You've got to ask questions. But Man City's goals were Kirsten Kasperite, Queen of Instagram, after 37 minutes. And then, again, Brighton were very much in it all the way up to the 90th minute when Viv Miedemar found the back of the net. And even then, it wasn't over because Charlize Rule found a very, very late goal in the 92nd minute for Brighton, which made things very interesting towards the end of the game. But Man City will be very relieved going back up the motorway for that one, I think, because they, if you like, probably would have taken a point. So I think realistically, they've realised that the Champions League is gone now because they're 6 points behind, 6 points off a Champions League spot with 4 games to go, and they've got to catch Man United, who are probably looking up at Arsenal rather than back at Man City. But it would be very Mark Skinner-esque to get the 2-year new contract and then throw away Europe in the last 4 games, which would be hilarious. But yeah, I think Man City will come away from that going 3 vital points. We're still in the fight. Like you say, we needed it after the disappointment of the Champions League. It was always a after the Lord Mayor's show kind of game.
Definitely, yeah.
But they did the job.
Yeah. It's all that matters, isn't it? It's getting. I always say it's one stat matters in football. It's the final score. Didn't matter how many shots you have. But yeah, good win for them. Going back to Chloe for the next one, we've got Crystal Palace, who are still fighting down the bottom there, but bad weekend for them. Obviously with Villa winning, but we'll get to that later on. But losing 4-0 to Arsenal, probably an expected result, really. But a couple of goals for Beth Mead as well, and that one wasn't it? So, but Palace getting up against it, find it difficult, but yeah, Arsenal keep rolling on as well.
Yeah, it was. And Arsenal had a great week as well with beating Real Madrid in the Champions League to continue that journey for them. So there was a lot of momentum and a lot of kind of like energy going into this match. Beth Mead got her 50th and 51st goals for the club, and it was so like kind of a poignant moment when she scored her 50th on Mother's Day because she lost her mum 2 years ago, and you could see how much that meant to her and kind of how much like that celebration meant to her and also the rest of the team. So that was really nice. To be fair, it was an absolutely beautiful goal. The pass from Chloe Kelly. And can I just say, since returning, Chloe Kelly has been absolutely superb. They say never fall in love with a lone player, but half of Arsenal have fallen in love with her. And I don't think it's a loan spell. I think she's going to stay 100%. I don't think she's going anywhere.
I think they should change the line to never fall in love with a lone player unless it's Chloe Kelly. To be honest,
I think we've all got that vibe that she is pretty much staying. So Chloe Kelly whipped the ball into the box, and Beth Mead managed to slot it into the bottom corner, which was beautiful. Alessia Russo doubled the lead when she latched onto Mariona Caladente, who again has been absolutely on fire recently, Caladente. Like she's been good. And she got that one. Then Chloe Kelly crossed in the 77th minute, but the ball was put into the back of the net, the Palace net, by Palace captain Alison Swaby. So she got the third goal. And then within stoppage time, Beth Mead found the top corner and completed the 4-0 win. And this was Beth Mead's goal was also the 24th goal that the Gunners had netted in the past 6 games, which is another pretty impressive stat.
Machines at the minute. Yeah, machines. But I agree with what you said about Beth Mead, obviously, with her being ex-Sunderland, and I watched a very young Beth Mead play for Sunderland, and one of the goals, I think it was against Newcastle. It was over at Hebburn, where we used to play, and she literally just made a run for her family and stuff, and her mum's like, I've got the photos somewhere, I should have to dig it out and put it on my Twitter. It's a beautiful photograph, and it was Beth Mead's mum's favourite photo of her playing football up to that date. So, I'll find it somewhere else, stick it on. But yeah, fair play. I was so chuffed when I seen. Obviously, I was Sunday game saying she'd scored. I was like, yeah, it's a poignant moment. So, fair play to Palace. Like I say, a bad weekend compounded by Villa beating Liverpool. But we'll talk about that one after we've spoken about a Leicester and Tottenham Hotspur 1-1 draw. Paul, is this you? Yes, it is. No, it's Chloe. It's you again.
Me again.
Keep going. Yeah, might as well keep going with Leicester and Spurs.
Oh, you lucky thing is going to hit me again. So Spurs ended a 5-match losing streak, which is pretty not great for Spurs. But they'd also scored just once in 5 league matches and conceded 11. Because Beth England, who is their top scorer, has been absent with a quad injury, so we've not seen her. But it was also the first point that Bobbyville's side had picked up since the 26th of January, which is crazy considering it's now the 2nd of April, and Spurs haven't got a single point. But they absolutely dominated proceedings at the King Power, with the best chance of the first half falling to Martha Thomas, who, as we all know, ex-United, she also left. But her one-on-one made a sharp reaction out of the keeper. What am I reading here? There we go. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. To be fair, Jess Naz, who was left out of the England squad, tactical or not tactical, who knows, went extremely close for Spurs, but she couldn't get anything out of it. There were multiple missed opportunities from Hannah Kane, Liz Kopp, and they managed to, and Liza Kopp managed to beat the defender and put the ball into her own net, which is quite a time for own goals in the WSL this weekend. And Spence managed to cut back Leipzig and get that into the net to make it 1-1. But the big question about Spurs at the moment is, where's Hayley Raso? What's happening with her? She came on the weekend before against West Ham in the 80th minute, but she since disappeared. She wasn't featured at all this weekend. Like, she wasn't on the bench. She wasn't named as one of Bobby Ville's injured players. Like, he mentioned a few who were injured, which is fair enough, but she wasn't mentioned as one of them. She wasn't on the team sheet. She wasn't even at the stadium. She was in Australia at this point because international break, like, she'd already gone home, whereas the other Aussies at both Spurs and Arsenal were playing, and they went to the airport after the game, but she was already in Australia. So, and as the eagle-eyed of us would notice, she's also taken Spurs out of her bios on all social media. So it's a big question about where it's Hayley that hasn't been mentioned by the media, that hasn't been mentioned by anyone else. But just a question where, although there was quite a funny video posted today of Claire Wheeler, who plays for Everton, talking to her, and I'm like, yeah, Claire's just trying to get her back to us, which I wouldn't be mad about.
That would be a very Everton signing in the summer, actually, though.
I'd love it.
I can absolutely see Brian Sorensen pulling that off.
I'd love it. I think it'd be great. Her bows would look so cute. Her bows in royal blue were so cute. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's a lovely strip to put on, like, isn't it? I've got an Everton top somewhere in my wardrobe, but I've never wore it. Did once. But yeah, I was just thinking though, maybe she thought the weather would be better over in Australia, but we're actually getting really nice weather, aren't we? So it's no excuse, is it? It's actually quite nice. What's next? It's Liverpool. Liverpool 1, Villa 2. Yeah, I mean, probably the surprise result for all of the weekend, you would say. Obviously, Villa struggled massively, and just as I say, just absolute sod's law. Villa win. Freya's not here, so am I hosting every week from now on, just so Villa can stay up? I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, I mean, a difficult result for Liverpool to take as well. Though I think obviously they were big favourites going in, but a massive result for Villa. And it probably does that condemn Palace to relegation now? I'm not sure, but see what happens.
I think it was it would have been a huge point. It was even more huge 3 points. Like if you look at the, have I muted myself? No, I haven't.
No, you're still there. I thought you'd stop there. I thought, is that it?
I was just like, because I was looking at like the stats and stuff, and then thought nobody's responded. Have they heard me? But yeah, it would have been a huge point because as soon as Herbinger scored, I was like, that could be a real problem for Villa. That's done Palace a massive favour as well. And then Kirsty Hansen with a very nice goal, incidentally, because she only tends to score nice goals. And then officially it's a Jenna Clark own goal, which is a cruel way to lose for anybody. But also, I don't think it condemns Palace. But I think if you don't get the reverse situation either this week or next week where Palace win and Villa lose, then that's it. I think Palace need to stay within 1, maybe 2 points going into the final.
Each other, Paul. Sorry, didn't interrupt. Have they still got? I know because Palace beat Villa, didn't they?
They did, and you thought then that was a huge win. I'm just looking. Palace have definitely got the trickier running. Because Villa's running is, I believe, and I'm sure that Emma will correct me if necessary. I believe Villa's running with 4 points clear is now Spurs.
There we go. They've already played them twice. So.
Yeah, it's Spurs. They have got Arsenal, West Ham, and Brighton. So you can see them getting a couple of points out of that.
Yeah,
at least. And then you look at Palace's running, which I'm just bringing up here. And Palace's running is Chelsea. So, sorry, Palace, you ain't getting any points from that one. Then West Ham, then Leicester, and then their final game is Man City away. So you can see them again getting a couple of points. Are they going to get 4 more points than Villa over the last 4 games? Well, they've got to get 5 more points because goal difference. And you're like, It's a tall order now. The Palace fans that I'm speaking to are kind of saying, yeah, we're prepared for relegation at this point. We've kind of accepted it with that running. It would be a great escape now.
Yeah, I'll just quickly check the table. Yeah, I mean it's not looking great because you got to look at there. That's 5 points in it with the goals difference. So it's a shame because I would have liked to have seen them stay up. Just because obviously championship side and it's happening a lot where the team that goes up just comes back down straight away. But Graham disagrees, but let's hope not. Obviously, Charlton fan there be hoping that they have the derby next year. But I mean, like I say, a massive result for Villa. pity Freya's not here to celebrate it, but obviously she's away on holiday, so there you go. Then the final one from the WSL was, again, I would say a surprise result. Obviously, Chelsea 2, West Ham 2, but Chelsea were 2-0 up in that game as well, and there wasn't long left, was there? And then West Ham, I mean, because I was on my way home from the Sunderland game, and I turned it off, like, on the radio, that it's 2-0, I'm not even going to bother listening to that. And then I turned it back on when I came home, it was 2-2. I was like, what's happened there? But a really good comeback from West Ham, because not many teams will, do that at Chelsea. So fair play to them. It's still you, Paul. I think. Back to you.
No, they won't. And I've been waiting to do this all week. It was a case for Aston Villa. It's not Aston Villa. It was a case for West Ham of Shakira Martinez scoring twice.
I liked how you waited all week to do that joke and then got the team wrong.
I was so excited. Shakira Martinez's hips didn't lie. There you go. As she scored twice, and again, like you say, like Rosie and Chloe, our resident Chelsea fans, were both. How on earth did that happen? Because they should have been comfortable. They outshot West Ham 24-14, but actually had less shots on target, which is perhaps where the problem was. Micah Hamano scoring and then Aggie Beaver-Jones within 5 minutes in the first half. Like you say, 2-0 up, you think that's about it. But Shakira Martinez scoring just before half-time. And I'm just going to look her up because her name keeps coming up for West Ham as one of those, like, and it's weird how West Ham seem to find these players every year. Like last year it was Rico Wecki, and this year it is obviously Shakira Martinez, who is another January signing. She was a summer signing and then went on loan to Freiburg in the Bundesliga, but was recalled in January. And I'm now very swiftly, I know I should have all these stats prepared, but I was too busy looking up Beastie Boys lyrics. So
priorities are correct.
So priorities are correct. Plus also it's West Ham. Nobody else has the stats either. But looking at the likes of West Ham, she's already scored 5 goals, Shakira Martinez, since January. Five goals in 8 starts. Like, we talk about Kelly Gargo's impact for Everton. Shakira Martinez is having a very similar impact for West Ham, and perhaps it's not being recognised as much because she wasn't technically a January signing. She was one of those players who was signed in the summer and then kind of disappeared off and was in the squad, but not in the squad. Oh, Graham.
Brilliant.
I'm both annoyed with him and I'm annoyed because I wish I'd come up with that joke. But
I've turned his comment off. I do apologise. I was trying to star it there. Anyway.
But
it is funny that way. I like that.
But it's one of those where, again, people talk about refereeing decisions, but Chelsea have had refereeing decisions go both ways, and so it perhaps evens it out a little.
Yeah.
And also, part of me, if you want to do the full conspiracy theory, part of me thinks that the WPLL are just trying to keep it interesting. Because let's face it, two or 3 weeks ago, we were like, the title race is over. It's done. It's finished. How are people going to keep stuff interest now? Because Chelsea have effectively won the title. At one point, it looked like they were going to be champions by now. Now, there's 2 games at least until they can confirm the title. And mathematically, at least. So at least everyone can kind of pretend there's still some drama. Like
Uncle Montana disagrees. It is over though.
I mean, realistically, I think it is. But part of our logic for that would have been Chelsea are going to beat teams like West Ham.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the words of John Rambo, nothing is over.
Nothing is over. In the words of Emma Hayes, it's not over.
Whilst Uncle Montana's on, I'll just do his match report, Paul, before we go back to you. We could have deaded the game. Is deaded a word? We could have deaded the game in the first half. We didn't. And then Martinez caught Millie Bright off guard and scored 2-1. I can talk about refereeing decisions, but I will not. Yeah, I mean, referee, it's just a much of a muchness, isn't it? You get good ones and you get bad ones, especially in the WSL and I mean, try watching the championship, honestly. It's so bad.
Yeah, ask Durham about Charlotte Newsham standing on the line, and
yeah,
we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Exactly. I do very quickly want to bring it back to was Emily's put. Are we not going to analyse or talk about Liverpool? Well, they're a team in the northwest, playing red. But no, what is going on there? Because obviously they got rid of Matt Bede went a few weeks ago now, and they don't seem to have had any bounce or anything like that. And then obviously that game. I mean, it's such a bad defeat to them. And yeah, I mean, where are they? They're just in the middle of nowhere at the minute, aren't they?
To be fair, it's easy to forget about was the second team in Liverpool. Sorry, Emily.
Yeah. They are. We're not. We're winning everything next year. Liverpool of a second. There's a reason it's called Liverpool 1, Everton 2.
that is the greatest bit of trolling ever, incidentally. For those of you who aren't aware, I'm sure Chloe's aware, Emily's aware, I'm sure Ant's aware, but for those of you who ain't aware, the big shopping centre in Liverpool is called Liverpool 1. And the Everton club shop in that shopping centre is called Everton 2, just so they can have the address Everton 2, Liverpool 1.
It's great.
Which is superb, frankly.
It is completely fantastic. I'm here for it, like, I must admit.
But I think Amber Whiteley's done a good job there the past few years, the past few games, even after Matt Beard had done a very good job. But I hope that, and I'm sure Emily does as well, that the Liverpool owners are looking at the rise of Everton women. And if nothing else, oh crap, they're catching us, we need to use some of our resources that we have to at least kind of keep pace with Everton, if nothing else. And because if we look at the table, there's still a chance Everton could finish above Liverpool. I mean, at the moment, Everton are a top 4 team in form-wise. There was a stat before the last game that if they...
There are only 2 points in it.
Yeah, if you'd taken out the first 6 games, Everton would be a top 4 team because they've been better than Manchester City.
We did beat them.
And I think that'll be a huge psychological thing. I think if Brian Sorensen can somehow have Everton finish above Liverpool in this WSL season, then that will give huge impetus to the blue side of Liverpool, and you'd hope would give the red side a kick up the arse for investment in the summer.
Yeah, then they can change the shopping centre shops, couldn't they? Like Everton 6, Liverpool 7. Just for 1 week. You know what I mean? Like they changed like the Holiday Inn in Barry Island. Can't remember now. What's occurring, wasn't it?
I mean, like Tony says, obviously Liverpool. The big focus with Liverpool has been Trent Alexander-Arnold buggering off.
Yeah. But spare 1 month that wage. I mean that's a fair point.
I mean, yeah, 1 month of that wage that they were going to pay him. And he's crapped all over his legacy, hasn't he? It's probably talked about in the Premier League show, but he's dumped all over his legacy with that one, the way Liverpool fans have been responding. And I think now the onus is on Liverpool owners to properly invest, because I think Everton will invest in the summer. And I think if we start seeing players move from the red half of Liverpool to the blue half, which is far more likely in the women's game, I think that will be a big thing. And they need Sophie Roman-Haug. They need another striker to back up Sophie Roman-Haug.
Mm-hmm.
They need to find a quality. I mean, there are quality goal scorers out there in the French league. There are quality goal scorers out there in the German league who Liverpool could realistically go out and get. Like they will say, money wise, there's not a lot out there. But when you look at the top goal scorers in the women's Bundesliga, for example, I mean, Lineth Berenstein is probably obtainable. Laura Freigang is on about going across to the WSL. And it's players like Geraldine Reuteler from Eintracht Frankfurt or Nicole Agnomi from Frankfurt as well. Liverpool could easily outspend them if they wanted to, or they could go to players like Natasha Kowalski from Essen, and it's just why are they not going out there and doing that? Why are they not trying to get not even that elite level of player, but another Livia Smith type level player?
That's
what they need to do.
Worrying as well, isn't it? Like -13 in your sixth and table. It's they've had some hammerings, haven't they? You look at like Everton's and West Ham's directly below them. It's nowhere near.
I mean, they need a new goalie. Rachel Laws is, I know.
Would I have anything bad said about Lawsy on this podcast?
Well, no, it's not bad that she's not a bad goalie, but she's much nearer the end of her career than the start.
She's getting, yeah. She should be what? Lawsy be what? 31, 32?
She's more like 34, isn't she? I've got to look that. I'm sure she's. For some reason in my head, she's one of the proper like old stages of the WSL.
Yeah, you're right. She's 34.
Yeah, so realistically,
there's her going to Newcastle at the end of the season.
That's it. She's got one more year, and that's it. And Liverpool can trade on being Liverpool, like much as we don't like him in the women's game to do so. Liverpool can still trade on being Liverpool, and attracting women's players to train at Melwood and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's the history. And yeah, if they win the cup again, if they have a trophy, that's another big thing. If they catch Brighton, that's another big thing. But it needs the ambition of the owners to go and do that. And they haven't really shown it so far.
No. Yeah, and Emily's just agreeing about Lawsy. She's still mint though. I love her. I love her so much. You're welcome back to Sunderland any day, Rachel. But yeah, I mean, we'll just go out to the table because we do have another league to talk about. Well, Chelsea are top with 48 points. You know, as Tony said before, 7 points away from the title. So you still fancy them, but you never know. But Arsenal and Manchester United will be hoping to pick up the pieces should Chelsea not. City there in fourth, and I agree with you. Well, I think that's probably Champions League out the way now. But Brighton, great season. Fifth, Liverpool, which is mentioned, sixth. West Ham, I think they're having a really good season as well in seventh. Everton, eighth. Spurs, ninth. Leicester City, 10th. Villa in 11th. And poor old Crystal Palace are bottom on 9 points. Right. If it's all right with everybody, we'll move on to the best league in the world, the Women's Championship. Shall we start? That was the early game. Well, wasn't that on Saturday? That was Blackburn beating Southampton. I want to ask this: what on earth has happened to Southampton? I mean, like they were one of the favourites to go up. Had a new manager in Remy Allen. I thought would have been. I thought it was a really good pick, to be honest. Really good appointment. She's obviously now no longer there, and I don't think they've won this year. It's such a fall off from where they were at the start of the year, where they were near the top. I really can't split, but that's a cracking result for Blackburn, and that's probably Blackburn safe now. But just really weird, I think, with Southampton.
Yeah, they've thrown money at it up to a point, but it's almost as if they've missed their window to go up. Like last
I
year
agree with
in
that.
the window to go up, and now they again. It might be the case with them. We're seeing what's happening when you've got a men's team who's
Shit.
who's in the Premier League, but shit.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather have a men? If you're a women's club, would you rather be affiliated to a men's team desperately trying to stay up in the Premier League that's shit, or a decent or a good team, a strong team in the Championship?
Yeah, and you got to think as well with Southampton men, they got rid of their managers, didn't they? Got rid of Russell Martin quite early, and then they had to bring in, I haven't got a clue who it is now, but then they're on about spending £2 million in the summer for Danny Roll from Chef Wed. So is that automatically there? The women's side not getting any money to improve next year, and now, I mean, they're just, I mean, like I say, they're just a shell of themselves. And they've always, like you say, they've always been one of them teams that if they show up against anyone, you were in for a rough game. And now, just everyone's going there and beating them. I mean, they lost. We took points off them early on, and like I said, didn't they lose to Southampton as well? They drew, didn't they? They drew to Portsmouth, and that sort of kick-started Portsmouth mini revival. And it's just, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure with them.
And Blackburn are just kind of there. Blackburn are like the cheddar cheese of the Championship. They're just kind of there, and people accept that they're there and they have a place, but there are more exotic, more interesting, more successful alternatives.
It's like going to Malta on holiday, isn't it? You know, it's nice, but it's a bit bland.
It's like the Bognor Regis of British holiday resorts. Like, you go there, but nobody would choose to go there.
No.
It's like,
oh bless. Shall we move on before we get wrong?
but it was a big win for Blackburn at Ewood Park, and again, it's nice to see that they're probably safe now, because let's face it, due to history, we probably all want Sheffield United to go down.
100% agree. 100%
big club to go down.
Yeah, and what I will say though about Blackburn next year, they would automatically become my favourites to go down. Like, I think Portsmouth, I know they still might go down this season, Paul, don't get us wrong, but I think Blackburn, considering what's going on at the club as a whole, and the fact that they did the whole stuff about paying them, like, what was it, like a packet of crisps a week or whatever it was, I think, for me, they're going to be the next Reading, where either they'll lose interest altogether, or it'll be where they really do struggle. So they would be my, and to be honest as well, I actually quite like Blackburn as a club. They're not a great footballing side, but what they do really well. They are a proper shithouse of a football team, and I like that. I'm there all for it. You know what I mean? That they completely. Like, we dominated them last season, and they were the first team to beat us last season. We dominated them. They got a goal completely against another player, and then just spent the whole time wasting. I was like, if that was us, I would have been, it was one of them, and it just made the whole like Sun and women fans normally quite calm and controlled, and all. It just made everyone proper angry. It was great, but I mean, you're fair play to them, but I just think they'll be my tip to go down next year. But shall we move on to what probably is the result of the week? And I say this through, gritted teeth. Durham 6, Portsmouth 0. Durham seemed to score the goals in clusters, right? Like, this is mental. They scored on the 14th minute, the 19th minute, the 57th minute, the 58th minute, the 92nd minute, and the 93rd minute. So anywhere else between that, nothing much went on. But a big, and I've seen this last play a couple of times, because sometimes when I've been at work, when something been away, I've watched a bit of Durham. Amy Claypole, who is on loan from Chelsea, I think she's England under 19 international. She got a hat-trick. A couple of goals were really good as well. Sarah Wilson getting one, Durham's captain, an all-around brilliant player, an all-around brilliant person. Just a great lass. Carly Johns, who I really like as well, who's a cracking striker. And Eleanor Ryan Doyle, who's been out of the fold for a little while. She managed to get the 6th, but what a massive result that was for Durham. And people say not really expected, and I agree. I don't think I was expecting that. I think I probably had it as a draw because Portsmouth have been playing so well. But yeah, class for Durham, and Durham just keep on surprising everybody this season because a lot of people had them for relegation, an ageing squad, especially in aging backlines. Sarah Wilson's, your Becky Sillies and stuff. They lost Sarah Robson because she's expecting a second child, and you thought they were just falling off, but they've done class. So fair play to them.
Indeed.
Again, through your teeth.
but I do agree with you that Blackburn, what you were saying about Blackburn, I do agree Blackburn are the team to go down, even if they have got a few results. Because coming up are Ipswich, who are going to throw money at their women's team. They're already fully professional, and either Forest, Wolves, or Burnley.
Yeah.
Now the best thing for Blackburn would be for Wolves to somehow pull it off and come up, because Wolves don't spend much money on their women's team. They're still semi-professional.
Yeah.
If Forest come up, they're going to go for it.
Yeah. Especially if the men get Champions League.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money they could afford to give them. And Forest, to be fair, have spent an absolute fortune this year on, the likes of Holly Manders and, I can't remember the goat. I can't remember her bloody name. She used to play for
Charlie Wellings, Molly Green, loads of names.
What's the striker called?
Charlie Wellings has played WSL for Reading.
Yeah.
And then she disappeared up to Scotland when Reading went down the pan. And then she was attracted from, I think it was Hearts, back down to play 3rd tier in England from SWPL. And so that you look at and go, yeah, there's going to be, they're putting serious money in, and they will continue to do that. And I think they will certainly raid. I mean, Sheffield United have got a few proven Championship players in amongst.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. You look like Maria Ferrugia and that, and who's played Championship for like the last 6 years. I was thinking of Bridget Galloway. That's who I couldn't think of.
There you go.
And to be fair, Emily's just brought that up. There is 2 to go down from next year. I keep on forgetting, considering there's only 1 this year. But yeah, I think you're right there. The 2 that have come up. I shouldn't have pressed that. The 2 that come up. So, providing one of them doesn't do what Portsmouth did and struggled early on, because that's what Portsmouth were just getting used to the league, and it's just happened a little bit too fast for them. But they're finding the way now. There we go. Nottingham are Wolves 49 points each in the Women's National League North, and Ipswich are hashtag in the Women's National League South.
I hope Ipswich come up, just because after dealing with one bloody fake football club in London City, I couldn't deal with having bloody hashtag United. I mean, where's hashtag on a map? That's my point with football clubs. Like, where's hashtag on a map? It's not a real place. Football clubs should at least represent a place.
Whereas London City, I haven't got a clue where that is.
Well, they don't know where the. I mean, technically, I suppose Port Vale, because Port Vale isn't technically a place, but
no,
Port Vale is a special case. And they're not. And, well, yeah, they're MK is a place. They're just a franchise team, but at least they're not run by a bloody YouTuber.
Yeah. Shall we talk about Bristol City? Because I think we've spoke too nice about Durham for one week, but it was a cracking result. But Bristol City, mentioned before about Sheffield United. I try not to mention too much about Sheffield United, but I agree with you going down. Winning 3-0. Morgan, Tiazar and Cowan. Fia Morgan scoring some goals for Bristol City this year. And you were mentioned before regarding, Everton's looking for strikers and players like that. She could be one who makes a jump, She's done really well this year. And I've always liked, every time she's played against us, I've always liked her. So you never know with that. But yeah, good result for them. Paul, I'm going to let you talk about the next one because I was over the moon anyway, because it's not often I want London City Lionesses to win. But I did. And I don't mind being a bit of Macklin because they beat us the week before and we were terrible. But Izzy Goodwin on 3 minutes. Beth Lumsden with a great equal. I've got to say, Beth Lumsden's class for Newcastle. Absolutely class. But then Jakobsen getting the winning goal. But it all leads up to the last game of the season where London play Birmingham. Provided London don't win their game in hand, we may have a really big game at the end of the season on. And I really hope that's what happens, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Tony's got there before me. It was coined last week. I think it was either Tony or Matt who came up with El Cachico for this derby.
Amazing.
Which was an amazing line. I'm annoyed I didn't come up with it.
Can I just quickly, because I've made a little error I mentioned about the game in hand. That was their game in hand.
Oh, was it? Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
There you go. So they have won the game in hand, but we're still building to the last game of the season.
Yeah,
they've gone up above Birmingham now, because obviously Birmingham didn't play this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm double checking. No, they didn't play this
No,
weekend.
they didn't. There we go. So they've both got games in hand over Charlton, which Graham's just said. I think that's probably them done, which I agree with. I think it's one of them two now.
And I think it will go to the last game of the season. I think that gap will stay as is. And I think it'll be Birmingham have to win to go up.
Yeah. And it's at Birmingham, isn't it?
And it is at St Andrews, yeah. So or whatever they have, the Triton Showers crap old Tom Brady Memorial, whatever.
Well, the London City bus might get stuck getting through all those bin bags because there's a bin man strike on in Birmingham there, isn't it? So you never know, that might happen.
Unfortunately, yeah. Not just Birmingham, it's here as well. Down towards Coventry as well. We weren't sure our bins were going to get collected, but yeah. I have to be a little bit nice to London City now because my NWSL team is Washington Spirit, and I didn't realise it was another bloody Kang team. So, of course, she's now over all my social media, which is fun. By the way, I'm not saying I'm a lucky charm, but I picked Washington Spirit. They won 2-0, and they had Ashley Hatch, their striker, win Player of the Week. So, I'm just saying, Washington Spirit, if you want to send your lucky charms some merchandise, feel free. But yeah, it's the depressing thing, like you say, is London City probably are going to go up, but then they probably will do okay in the WSL because Kang money. Mm-hmm. But it's not football, is it? Like, it's not a team that has a connection to its local people. It's not a team that, the likes of Newcastle, the likes of you with Sunderland, people can be born and go, right, okay, we support the club of Sunderland and we will support the men and we will support the women and we have history and whatever else. And there's that connection. London City, it's the day trippers go along and, oh, is there a team down there? We'll go and watch them. Because they're not even anywhere near where the club that they formed from are, because they broke away from Millwall Lionesses, and opposite side of London now from Millwall. So they are the MK Dons of women's football, and it's on the one hand, yay, independent team, and obviously people going to watch can say, oh, we've seen players like Kosovari Aslani and Sophia Jakobsen play in a field in Kent. And how weird is that? And Izzy Goodwin's a fantastic player, but it's soulless. There's no, and it will remain soulless. They'll go up and all the hype will be from media writing about them. There won't be a fan base celebrating and going, yay, we're up in the WSL. There won't be a fan game when they play teams like Arsenal. It's going to be 90% away fans.
Yeah, because London is pretty much Arsenal's. Yeah, a lot of when I went last year, a lot of them London fans were Arsenal fans. You just, yeah. But Graham's made a good point. Like, they both got to play Durham. And Durham are becoming that team at the minute that they might be the team that spoils our last day hope. Because Durham beat London at home. You know, I think it was just before. I think it was the game before Christmas, wasn't it? Was it just before Christmas, just after Christmas? And that's not going to be, and especially I think Birmingham have to go to Durham, and that pitch, as we mentioned, is all. That's why Durham win a lot of games at home, because that pitch is absolutely horrendous. So Birmingham going there, that could be the one. You know, that could be the game. But hopefully,
like you say, it might come down to which one of those teams get something out of Durham.
Yeah. Spenny fan Chris, I need to call him Spenny Cankis. Speaking of North East Women's Team, New Thornaby FC women won the Northern Division 9 month after the old board tried to scrap them. So fair play to Thornaby FC, that's really good. Which is just shy of Middlesbrough for those who don't know. It's the North East Regional Women's League, just in case you wanted the full version of the league name. And it doesn't sound like...
I think that one's better.
I agree. But let's go on to the final game of the championship and the best game of the championship. But really not, because the first half was the worst. And I've been watching Sunderland women for 10 years-ish, around about 10 years. And that was the worst 45 minutes I've ever seen. And we've played in some bad games. We've been, down at the bottom, right to the top, all this stuff in the middle. That was the worst. It was absolutely awful. And this even includes going to Birmingham at the start of the season and just not showing up. The first half there was a distinct lack of any positional awareness, it was like a lack of effort, and that's what would let me down the most. I thought they just weren't trying, and you could tell they were just not comfortable. Fair play to Charlton, they seen it straight away, and put 2 long balls over the top. Ellie Brazil getting the first one, which was a nice finish, to be fair. And then it was Jodie Hutton getting the second one, and then on the 22nd minute, Hutton scored a third. I thought it was offside. Got to be honest, I was looking along the line. I thought she was a good couple of yards offside, but it did even itself out in the end, which I'll come to later. And then just before half time, literally in stoppage time, and they played, I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes added on, because one of our lasses had suffered a little bit of an injury. We thought she was going to have to go off, but she played on. And then, like I say, it was just so bad. Demi, our goalkeeper, Demi Lamb, one shot for the ball. So Amy Goddard misses it, and Demi doesn't make it, and Ellie Brazil scores. It was the easiest goal she could score. And you're just thinking there, like, how many is this going to be? You're thinking this could be 7, 8, 9, and it wouldn't have been a surprise. But in the second half, Mel made a change, brought Louise Griffiths on for Brianna Westrup, and changed to a 4-4-2. We just looked so much better. We just immediately went on the front foot. Got a goal back through Tash Fenton, whether she meant it or not. She did tell us she meant it, so I'm going to believe her. And cue the brilliant reaction of Sophie White on the Charlton goal, and she realised she's not going to make it, and like, shit.
I love how Sunderland posted that video, and just clearly they'd either not watched it or their social media people had not realised that there's a very audible shit as it heads, like no language warning or anything.
But I mean, like I say, going back to the goal, whether, like I say, you can make up your own mind if you watch the goal back whether Tash meant it, but she told me after the game that she meant it, and I'll say Tash Fenton's words gospel. So then we get another one back through Mary McAtee with a lovely run and finish. Great to see Mary getting back in the goals, because she had a really, really bad injury. She suffered a really nasty concussion against Newcastle, which kind of affected her for like 3 weeks. She had a really, really serious, really serious head injury, but she got back, she scored. And then Charlton Charlton did well, because they just stung the momentum out of the game a little bit after that. They were like, the players were going down, and they were time wasting and all that, trying to see the game out. And then we get for me, a very contentious penalty where Ellen Jones gets through the middle of it was Atlanta Primers and one more defender. No, it wasn't Atlanta Primers. She doesn't play for Charlton. I can't remember her name. Well, the centre half, but she gets through a couple. Goes down. There's a little bit of Connor, but I didn't think it was a penalty. But to be fair to Ellen, she put the ball. It was a hell of a penalty. You know, took the goalkeeper the wrong way. It was Alicia Endell. That's the one. Sorry. But like I say, put the goalkeeper the wrong way. Really clean hit penalty. Really nice. And yeah, it just gave us that momentum. It was 7 minutes added on, but fair play to Charlton. They saw the game out well. But yeah, just a cracking game of football from one kind of, you know, like emotion to the other. Really, it was good. Disappointing that obviously we lost, and you know our season's just gone to the dogs. You know, we just haven't been good at all since Christmas. But hopefully now we've only got 2 games left. Like I say, we miss next, obviously Nationals is this week, and then next week we don't play. It's our game off, so to speak. And then we've got to go Bristol City, and then we've got Sheffield United at home at Stadium of Light on my birthday. So that could be a lovely birthday present for us to send Sheffield United down. So fingers crossed. But we have a new signing in Marissa Sheva or Shiva. I'm calling this Sheva because I don't want it to sound like Shiva, as bitter as I am. So, but she is a proper little baller, like, you know, like she's only slight. She's only like really small, really like thin, kind of, you know, like a fox in the box kind of player, but she's so quick. And obviously she'd been playing over in America, left in January, and then we've picked her up for the last 3 games, and she's also signed for next season, Irish international as well. And I really liked her. Think like she's got a lot of potential, and hopefully, you know, because we don't know who's going at the end of the season. I think there'll be a few who leave, you know, a few more to come in. But if we can build a team around her, I think we've signed a good one there. Like, she looks a really good player. But yeah, apart from that was Sunderland. But fair play to Charlton. A few of the fans came up. A couple of them kind of distasteful comments, I would say, for a women's game where they were having a bash at our goalkeeper, you know, really having a go at her for shouting for an offside and all that. And it was like, yeah, just shut up. Apart from that, dumb question, how can you sign someone from outside the transfer window? She was free. So she wasn't attached to a club, so you can still have them. So that's why. But yeah, that's me done. I've got nothing else about Sunderland and Charlton unless someone else wants to join in. Should we do Graham's little bit of Graham's match report? She's put, I officially got a year older on Saturday and aged 20 years on Sunday. You know, the only one I had a full head of hair. Lovely finish from Melly Brazil, I agree. The first one. Just seen a replay of the side out, and Jodie looked onside to me when it was played. It was tight. I think she was, and I was on that side. And yes, I am biased, but I think she looked a good yard off. But hey ho. 5 mad minutes in the second half give you life and hope, and we could never regain the momentum, which is true. I didn't think it was a penalty either. Yeah, I agree. Let's just say a variable other than the camera roll game. Paul won't be shocked. And apologies for that. Not nice to hear his majority of our fans are good, but all clubs have them, I guess. Yeah, he was a Scottish lad, so I don't know if you know him, but he was like his very distinctive accent. But yeah, he was a bit of a tit, to be honest. But apart from that, yeah, that's the championship results. Shall we go on to the table? We have, as we said before, the top 2, London City Lionesses and Birmingham City, all set for the end of season showdown. We hope it goes to that. But as Spenny fan Chris mentioned before, Durham could have a big part to play in that. And you're not really ruling Durham out if they win the game in hand. Now it's 6 points with 3 games to play, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Bristol City, Newcastle United, Sunderland, Southampton, who we've just mentioned, who are just on the beach. Blackburn, who, like I say, pretty much sealed their spot in the championship next season with that win. And they still have a few more games to play. Portsmouth and Sheffield United, who also have a game in hand on Portsmouth, but we all want Portsmouth to stay up. Even me, and that takes away a local game for me because it's only about 2 hours drive. And that's about it, unless there's any other business from you two guys.
I mean, there's the internationals, but we'll probably be talking about those more next week because obviously they actually run over a weekend for a change.
Yeah, and we need something to talk about next week, don't we?
NWSL wise, how did Orlando Pride do, Chloe, over the weekend?
We actually played midweek, funnily enough, but I think we won.
There you
think?
I think maybe. Let me find out. Actually, bear with callers. Bear with.
I was going to say Washington Spirit. My first game as a Washington Spirit fan was a successful one at Rowdy Field, which I'm now insisting on calling it. You know, as a cracking nickname.
We won 2-1 against San Diego Wave. Woo!
Oh, that's good. I really dislike San Diego Wave being IDFL.
And we are
team.
We're top of the table and on track for our second Grand Slam. You'll wait 10 years for a win as an Orlando Pride fan, and then you're probably about to get to 2 seasons. We won't. It's very early in the season to be saying that, but the fact remains you wait 10 years as a Pride fan to win something. We just wait 10 years to win something as a football fan, and then you feel life's accomplished now because you've got
10 years. Behave. You try being a bloody Coventry City fan. Christ.
I'm 39 in a month and I haven't seen us win anything.
This is true.
Well, we won the Pizza Cup, but that was during COVID, so we couldn't go. But, you know, it's only one step down from the League Cup that them over the road have been shut about for the last freaking 2 weeks, but never mind. But, yeah, I mean, if that's everything, shall we have an early night? Shall we have a little bit of an early finish?
I think
Freya let us.
I think we can have an early finish.
Yeah.
It's because we haven't had autocorrect playing up. We haven't had a 15-minute discussion of questionable topics like the Sub Cup.
Yeah, I think we should have an early finish. I think Freya let us because we've all worked hard this week. We've all done our homework. And we've all bought her an apple in. So yeah. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much to Paul. And where can we see more of you?
You can see more of me at Paul W Radio on Twitter. And if you add the little blue sky thing on the end, it's on there, although I don't use it as much as I perhaps should because having to run 2 social media accounts is tricky. And
it's a chore, isn't it?
and also, I've been trying to use Twitter a little less, which is still going to be my excuse for not realising Man City had sacked Gareth Taylor a couple of weeks ago.
Best moment ever.
Just full on Chris Kamara moment. Like
it's going in the end of year awards. It's going in the end of year package about what have we achieved this season.
we made Paul look really stupid. We had our very own women's football Chris Kamara moment.
It's going in the no context moments. I've got a list on my phone. This is not relevant to any types of football, but I've got a list on my phone of stupid things my friends say, just completely out of context. That will be going in our no context list of things.
Oh, don't give Sam ideas. There's gonna be like a 10-minute montage for all the podcasts, like 3 minutes for each. That was my Shah reading the goal difference and not the points.
Or when I clicked go live and there was no music on a few weeks ago. that was fun.
A no context absolute football moment, like my absolute no context, like my no context quotes list is my favorite thing in the world, and it will be happening.
Wampa Banga Wanga. You can just put that.
Wampa Banga Wanga. There you go. That can go in as well.
There we go. Well, yeah, you mentioned Blue Sky before. You know, I'm in the same boat, right? So I've got Blue Sky, and it's a wonderful place to be, right? It's just nice. It's a bit like John Lennon's song came true in social media form. But I'm with you that I just can't. I don't have the time. You know what I mean? And Twitter's the original, so I'm still on it, but I just don't do it.
I think it will literally have to be a case where Twitter will have to break. Elon will
Yeah,
have to break
yeah.
through.
I mean, unless we start to get charged tariffs on going on, online to X, which pretty much could happen.
Oh, if they start charging for it, then you'll see everybody.
He's literally charging us for everything else. And he's mate Trump, he might put a tariff on us. But anyway, that's by the by. That's for another week. And Chloe, where can we see more of you?
So I am on all socials at ChloeBear529. So that's Twitter or X, whatever people call it these days, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Threads. If anyone uses Threads, I've got it, but I don't use it. I don't know how to use it. Just everything at ChloeBear529.
Spot on. And if you want to hear more of me, I'm at @_Waterson on Twitter. Also, if you want to listen to the only Sunderland fan dedicated podcast to Sunderland women, it is at However Pod. There wasn't a podcast on this week because we just didn't fancy it, to be honest. No, we had a lot of stuff. Obviously, my dad's been unwell, so he came home yesterday. We were meant to do it yesterday, and he came home yesterday, so I had to obviously sort all that out. But yeah, I mean, everyone's been doing a fantastic job in my absence on that. But we are going to be back next week, so that's on like Twitter Spaces. But we are coming on to StreamYard from next year, so that should be fun. But yeah, like I say, thanks to everyone in the chat. Everyone, you've been absolutely brilliant. We couldn't do this show without you. Cheers, Chris, and we'll see you tomorrow, mate. And if anyone is on tomorrow, we'll see you then. Cheers, Graham. Thank you very much. Cheers, everyone.
I'm hiding tomorrow after the Sky Blues week last week.
I'm getting, apparently people are going, you're only on when you win, and it's like, well, no, I'm on all the time, but I just had to miss a few weeks because I've had problems. But the most important thing is that wonderful group of faces there. Absolute legends, a lot of them, especially the Absolute Women's Show, who our leader, Freya, will be back next week. But if you want to catch us, we are on 8:30 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The Tuesday is the Absolute Premier League, which is now hosted by the wonderful Sam. Wednesday, the Absolute Women's Football with, like I say, from next week, Freya. And the Absolute Lower League, which is back tomorrow with the absolutely incredible Shah and the Rowdy Rabble, which will include me tomorrow. I'm not sure who else. I think it might just be me, Ben Shah, I think the way it's going. But if you want to follow us, we are on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod. YouTube is Absolute Football Podcast. Twitch is Absolute Football Podcast. Whatever that is. I think that's TikTok, isn't it? Absolute Football Pod. Instagram's Absolute Football Podcast dash or whatever that is, hashtag. Blue Sky is at Absolute Football, and Facebook is the Absolute Football Podcast. So if you want to follow us on all of them or any of them, head yourself to there. And yeah, I would say every time you follow us, a fairy gains its wings, but Josh isn't here anymore. So I'm going to make up my own catchphrase. But thanks everyone for stopping by. You all have a wonderful end of your Wednesday. Have a lovely Thursday tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow, and Freya will be back next week. Until then, you all look after yourselves. Take care, and bye-bye for now.
And we wait.